All right, let's talk about old school bench press training and getting a raw 315 bench. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I want to chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And I feel like this is a video we should make a lot, right? Because people just don't get it. They don't understand. They haven't looked at the old school stuff. And in fact, I've even seen guys like Greg Knuckles in his Science and Strength blog talk about this, and he's a guy who's benched like 450 raw. The thing is, we see a lot of this come from the equipped world, and it's ironic that even in the equipped world with Louis Simmons, who pushed triceps, even he used to talk about this and say, oh yeah, the old school guys back in the day, they did a third flat bench, a third incline, a third overhead press. But, what do we have to keep in mind? What do we have to keep in mind? Old school guys all benched with a wide grip. They all had big pecs, mostly flat back, and they were all raw. And I think we have to understand these holdovers from the equipped powerlifting world, to where when people don't understand equipped lifting, you wear a bench shirt that produces 200-300 pounds of force, and that's the weaker old school shirts out of the bottom. Okay, so mainly with a lot of that, it is all lat and tricep. It's all lat and tricep for the equipped benching. Okay. But for people who are benching raw, that's not the case. And it's you have to think about the fact of why they need all that lat to touch the bar where they need it to touch, right? So that they can pull the bar into the correct position, because it's usually a weight that's way heavier than they can raw bench. They have to stabilize it, and then they have to pull it into the right spot. And then, the shirt helps get it moving. Triceps lock it. Because usually, again, at least 50% of the weight is unloaded for the bottom half of the lift. Then they're arching on top of that. You see where we're going? When it comes to a raw bench, and especially if you're going to bodybuilder style bench like I'm doing there, and you guys watched me repping 315, right? Doing rep work. You guys have seen me bench 365 that way with a 2-second pause. Pinkies on the rings are wider, pausing on the chest and just driving. All right? So how do we do that? That is pecs. That is pecs and delts. Now, am I saying triceps and lats and upper back don't matter? No, I'm not saying that. I want to be clear. They do matter. And it would be a good idea to build your whole upper body. Okay? If you want a big raw bench, I'm not saying good biceps to stabilize it won't help. In fact, they arguably will. Triceps will help it move. Lats, upper back will help you get the correct bar path. In fact, big lats can even help you pop it out of the bottom. Okay, but your pecs and your delts are going to be the key. And by delts, I do really mean the front delts. So when we think about this, there's a few things to think about. It means that your bench training needs to facilitate that. Okay. In fact, I could argue it wouldn't even be a bad idea to do some decline work if you have access to a good deep decline bench. A lot of us don't. Okay, unfortunately, I don't. It'd be nice if I did. Right? With the little handles and everything, to put your feet in. Good decline bench, good spotter for it. Decline bench can go a long way. But failing that, flat bench, incline work overhead, because that will still get everything done that we need to get done. All right. The benching itself, though, you need to be thinking about building your chest. If you want a big raw bench, it is about them teddies. It is about having a big, thick, wide, full chest, because that's what gets you moving out of the bottom. And so therefore, I would say do your benching in such a way that facilitates this. Okay? Do your benching in a way that facilitates this. Bench with a wide grip. In fact, you may even want to spend some time gripping ultra wide. Outside of the rings, you may even want to practice doing some illegal wide benching. Get your pecs big. All right, get rid of the arch, get rid of the leg drive. Notice that when I'm doing all that benching, what do you see? Yeah, that's rep work with 315. Now, I can add the other stuff to probably push a bigger weight. I can get a little arch, do some leg drive, but I'm not using any of it in this training. Why? Because I want the chest to move the weight completely off the bottom, and I want my chest to get built while doing it, right? We want to build pecs. So that means heels are flat, no arch. We pause. Pause on every single rep. Pause on every single rep. Okay? Again, if we do it this way, we are forced to use the chest over and over and over to get it moving out of the bottom. And then we get that nice, thick myofibrillar growth. Okay? That chest density, especially that whole lower half of the chest, we build it doing that. All right. That's your number one key. But then we say, well, what about the upper chest? What about the delts? What do we do for all of that? All right, that's where incline work comes in. Because if you think about it, that is for rep work, right? Your bar paths can get a little different when you're maxing. What's one of the things the researchers noted decades ago? Like Bill Kazmaier was studied in this, and what they found when they took a novice bencher, who could only bench 225, they took like a solid national level power lifter with like a 405 bench, and they took Bill Kazmaier benching 600. They filmed them from the side. And one of the things they noticed is that the bar, the stronger the bencher, the sooner the bar drifted towards the face off the chest. Okay? More of into an incline bar path. You see where we're going with this? All right? The heavier it got. So with the rep work, you're going to see the same thing. As you're doing rep work that's submaximal, your bar path is going to be more straight. When you go to a max, it is going to drift further up towards the face. And again, they found that this changed like 3 inches with every 200 pounds it was added there. Okay? So if you get really strong at incline work, what's going to happen? That transition point, you're going to be strong at it. Okay, now in my case, there's still a disparity. Notice I'm doing rep work with 315 and then 225. Now, granted, I'm doing a few more reps with the 225, but still, very large disparity. So in the case of someone like me, my bench would probably go up considerably if I just got stronger at incline, because that position's going to change. All right, then overhead, what about overhead? All that front delt. What happens when we get about halfway up, midway, if we stick? People say, oh, that's triceps. No, that's not triceps. Triceps are the lockout, last 3 inches or so. That midway is front delts, right? It's going to be front delts. Overhead pressing will fix you there. So flat bench builds it with a pause. If you stick a few inches off the chest at the transition, you get stronger at incline, you'll blast through that. If you start sticking at the midway, it's going to be overhead. And quite frankly, since we all train triceps anyways, we all do extensions, we all do pullovers, we all do all that stuff. Our triceps are going to get trained anyways. Okay? At that point, they're really just along for the ride. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.